If you're a new real estate agent and you're wondering what systems you should implement in your business right away, stay tuned. That's exactly what we're covering in today's video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn how to grow your real estate business without ever making a cold call, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap that bell for notifications so that you never miss a video. Today we're talking systems, and while this video is catered to you if you are a new real estate agent, even if you've been in the business for years, if you don't have systems set up within your business, you're going to want to stay tuned. Systems are the key to leveraging your time. And it's very important when you are a new agent to still go ahead and implement systems. I understand you may not have a lot of business right now, or maybe even no business. That's the perfect time to set up your systems because you have the time to do it. Don't wait until you're drowning in clients and then you really don't have time to implement the systems. First system that you are going to want to set up is your CRM. And this could be as simple as a Google sheet or an Excel sheet. By no means am I suggesting that you go out and spend a ton of money on a CRM. I think that's a big mistake. You don't need to spend any money at all. A lot of brokerages out there will provide a CRM, and you could certainly look into using that, but I would recommend always keeping a backup of your contacts just in case you leave that brokerage. Because once you input them into their CRM, if you don't have them anywhere else, you will lose access if you ever change brokerages. A CRM is so important when you're a new agent because you want to start adding to and growing your database. So your CRM is where you're going to put your contacts. You want to get their name, of course, their email address, phone number, birth date if you possibly can. Get as much information as you possibly can and start building that CRM, which is essentially your database. Next up is a lead gen system. And depending on what you have chosen when you made your business plan for how you're going to lead generate, that's going to dictate how your lead generation system needs to be set up. If you are doing, say, Facebook ads, then you want to have a system in place so that any leads that you get from Facebook are automatically dumped into your CRM. And from there, you want a system that's going to constantly follow up with those leads, especially when you aren't manning the ship. So you need to have contacts going out to these leads, whether it's actually from you in real time, or let's say you're out on an appointment and a lead comes in, it needs to be that instant response. You've got to be super fast when following up with leads, and that's why you need a lead generation system in place. The third system that you are going to want to implement in your business is your buyer process. So by that I mean, once you have a buyer, you need a process that's going to take you from step A all the way to step Z. So whatever that is in your business, maybe you need some assistance. You could work from somebody else's template. It could be a checklist. It could be, online that's automated. Whatever you prefer is fine. But there needs to be a system in place from the moment you have a buyer to the time that they close and actually even beyond. But I'm going to touch on that a little bit later in this video. You probably guessed what's next. You need a seller system. Same thing to what we just talked about with buyers. When you get a seller and then subsequently a listing, you need a system in place on what needs to happen from A to Z. There are so many steps that go into working with both buyers and sellers. And in this case, since we're talking about sellers, you've got to keep in mind, you have to meet with them. You have to walk through the house. You have to make suggestions about repairs or updates. You've got to schedule the photographer. You've got to schedule the floor plan, the virtual tour. You've got to get all the listing paperwork and addendums taken care of. You've got the MLS listing. I could go on and on. It's almost 200 steps when you are working with a seller. So you need to have a process in place, particularly because down the road, if you are, say, out of town or on vacation, taking a little time off, by having these systems in place, when you get to the point that you have an assistant, or even if you just have another agent covering your business while you're out of town enjoying some downtime, Having these systems in place will make things run so much smoother, and it means you won't be getting disturbed while you're trying to get some rest and relaxation. That leads me to email templates. Our time is precious. All of us have the same amount of time, but how we use it can vary drastically. And having email templates will save you hours and hours of your time. As real estate agents, we send a lot of the same or just similar emails. For example, when you're sending a contract over to a buyer to review, you're going to be sending that email over and over and over again as you get more clients. Have a template that's all mapped out that says, sale price, settlement date, contingencies, all of the meat of the offer that you're going to be making, so that all you have to do is then fill in what's specific to that client. That will save a lot of time. Same thing when you're sending over listing paperwork. Have that email template. Have one that's for setting up a home inspection. Have one that is guidance on taking utilities out of a homeowner's name or putting them into a home buyer's name. There are just so many emails that we send on a regular basis, and I'm not saying you may not have to tweak them here and there, but boy, does it save a lot of time if you have the template already in place and all you have to do is make a couple changes and send it out. The last system you want to get in place early on is client retention, and I briefly hinted to this one earlier in the video. I'm sure you're probably thinking, well, I hardly have any clients or I don't have any clients, and that is perfectly okay. You can have this system in place and ready to go so that from the moment you close your first deal, that client goes into your client retention program. It is so much easier to retain clients than it is to get new clients, and agents do overall not a great job of keeping in touch with their clients after closing. And it doesn't mean that you have to bombard people on a weekly or even a bi-weekly basis. It's just about staying in touch and staying present with them. And that could vary depending on what your relationship is with that client. Mine are all custom. I have mine set up so that depending on how close I am with them, or whether they're a repeat client, or were they a referral from a good friend of mine, do we have the same circle of friends? There's a lot of variances, so all of my people get very customized touches, and I think that's important. We shouldn't just be sending out mass garbage or little trinkets to just everyone that we've ever worked with. That sort of takes the personalization out of it and makes it more selfish than it does serving our clients. But however you choose to approach this, just make sure that you have a system in place so that you are actively staying in touch with your clients. Whatever that means to you, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure you get a system in place so that you aren't finding that your clients a few years down the road are working with a different agent. Systems are the key to leveraging your time. And the more clients you have, the more important it is to have your systems already in place, chugging along so that you aren't wasting time getting them set up. Invest your time now, get that foundation built, get your systems in place, and you will find that down the road you're thanking yourself because you're not having to step away from working with clients to figure out how to implement a system into your business. I hope you got some value from today's video. If you did, please consider hitting the like button or dropping me a comment below. I always love hearing from you. And until next week, please take care.